Hey gang, Luke Austin here with our Week 3 Fantasy Football Recap. So I ended up going 2-1 in my leagues over this weekend in Week 3. I hope you did well too, but let's jump right into everything that I really messed up this week as far as fantasy football goes. Number one, I told you to go ahead and play Christian McCaffrey over Devontae Freeman, which was a terrible idea. Freeman ended up with a touchdown, 106 yards on the ground, and another 3 catches for 32 yards through the air. So if you benched him because I said so, you shouldn't have. Randall Cobb, I told you to go ahead and play him and bench Chris Hogan. So that was a terrible idea. Cobb had absolutely no catches for Green Bay this weekend. Meanwhile, Chris Hogan ended up with 2 touchdowns and 68 yards. So sorry about that one. Theo Riddick and Amir Abdullah from the Lions. Riddick ended up with 4 receptions for 38 yards, not over 20 points, definitely. Amir Abdullah didn't do much either. Jonathan Stewart, I said, should be a good play against the Saints. He did absolutely nothing as well. Phillip Rivers, I said, would be a decent start if you were in a league that doesn't penalize you for interceptions. Well, he only managed 238 yards through the air. So that probably wasn't much of a help for you if you had to play Rivers. And then, so the first week I'm super wrong about the Colts. I told you to bench all your Colts again just because they're having a terrible year with that offensive line. Well, Frank Gore, 57 yards on the ground with a touchdown, and he added another catch. But T.Y. Hilton, 153 yards and a touchdown. Generally, those two guys you probably drafted a little bit higher, so you had to play. But if you listened to me and benched them, boy, I'm sorry about that one. So moving along to a couple of iffy ones that I had. Ty Montgomery, somewhat iffy. I told you he should have a big day. But if you're in a PPR league, he had 8 receptions for 15 yards. So that's not horrible. He also added 35 yards rushing. You do want a lot more out of him. The other iffy play I had was Carson Wentz, who I expected to have a bigger day against the Giants. He only managed 1 touchdown and 176 yards. But I did get a couple of things right this week, and here's that. I mentioned McCaffrey earlier would be a decent play, especially in PPR leagues. Well, he did have 9 receptions and 100 yards, so not a horrible day out of McCaffrey. I like that a lot. A.J. Green, I said, go ahead and play even though the Bengals have been terrible. A.J. Green, 111 yards, a touchdown, so there's a win for me, thank God. Mark Ingram, I told you to go ahead and bench Mark Ingram. If you did, you were smart. He only had 56 yards on the ground, and I told you to bench Alshon Jeffrey for the Eagles as well. He only had 4 receptions for 56 yards. But my favorite thing ever, and you can see I'm wearing my Dallas Cowboys shirt. I am a Cowboys fan, but I told you to go ahead and play Larry Fitzgerald on Monday night against a super weak Cowboys secondary. If you listened to me there, you ended up with Larry Fitzgerald having 149 yards and a touchdown, not to mention about 10 catches, I believe. So there you go. Pretty iffy for me this week. I did get a few things right. I really hope you played Larry Fitzgerald on Monday night. But I'll be back on Friday with my Week 3 fantasy favorites. You can send me your questions, of course. Luke at BigFrog104.com on our Facebook page. Or you can give me a call right here in the studio if you like, 736-0104. I'm here between 10 a.m. and 3 every day. I'll talk to you on Friday. Good luck in Week 4.